Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. We're in the Call of Cthulhu Keeper's Guide. Today we are continuing the chapter on grimoire, the spells of Call of Cthulhu. I'm going to attempt to cover 4 pages worth of spells today. The two biggest main areas are the contact spells. There's regular contact spells and there's contact deity spells, and we're going to cover those as well. But we're starting with the Cloud Memory spell. So Cloud Memory costs 1d6 magic points, 1d2 sanity points. Casting time is instantaneous. The spell blocks the target's ability to consciously remember a particular event. The caster must be able to see the target, and the target must be able to receive the caster's instructions. The spell takes effect immediately if the caster succeeds in an opposed power roll with the target. If the caster wins, the target's mind is mentally blocked regarding one specific incident. If the incident was terrifying, the victim may thereafter still have nightmares vaguely relating to it. If the spell fails, the event in question becomes vivid in the target's mind. The caster must know the specific event to be blocked. The caster cannot command something vague such as forget what you did yesterday. Instead, he or she must cite a certain event such as forget you were assaulted by a monster. This spell cannot block knowledge of spells or of the Cthulhu mythos unless the knowledge is firmly tied to a specific event. Nor can it undo a sanity loss or undo insanity. Alternative names is befuddle, dumbfound, and mystify. So I can see that spell being entertaining and useful. Clutch of Nyarlathotep. So Clutch of Nyarlathotep costs 1 plus magic points equal to twice the damage delivered that round. 1d20 sanity points. Casting time instantaneous. The caster must spend 1 magic point to begin the spell, and the target must be within conversational distance. For the spell to take effect, the caster must succeed in an opposed power roll with the target. If the caster wins the roll, the target feels as though a large hand or tentacle is crushing his or her heart, losing 1d3 hit points for each combat round that the spell is in effect. While under such an attack, the target is temporarily paralyzed, as though having a heart attack. In the round that the accumulated damage from this spell reduces hit points to 0, the target's chest ruptures and bursts, and the target's smoking heart appears in the hand of the caster. Each round the spell lasts, the caster must spend magic points equal to twice the number of hit points in damage. The caster must concentrate on the spell each round that it is to remain in effect, and the caster must defeat the target in an opposed power roll each round. If the caster is distracted, or if the target successfully resists, the spell ends. Any damage already done remains. Alternative names: the Vile Wrench, the Insidious Wrath of the Dark Wizard, Ye Loathsome Tickle. The next spell is Consume Likeness. Costs 10 magic points every 6 hours of casting, 5 power, and 1d20 sanity points. Casting time, several days. The caster can assume the living likeness of a person freshly dead, as seen by eye, video camera, x-ray, etc. The victim may be no more than 15 size points different from the caster. For the next few days, the caster consumes the victim and works the spell, expending 10 magic points every 6 hours and permanently sacrificing 5 power points. The caster could consume several likenesses and thereby take on several guises. When a victim is consumed, the caster loses 1d20 sanity points. This spell is known by many serpent people. Once the spell is complete, the caster takes on the appearance of the victim at will, for as long as desired. To the keen observer, the shadow of the caster remains as his or her original, not that of the consumed. Similarly, the caster's skills and memories remain intact. The victims are gone. Upon losing one or more hit points, the caster's original form is resumed. To go from an assumed form to the original form takes 20 seconds. The original form must be reverted to before another form can be assumed. To go from the original form to an assumed form takes 1d3 minutes. Alternative names: the snakeskin cloak, the Valusian mantle, the gift of Yig. There's a deeper version of the spell if you wish to use it as the keeper or make it available. It allows you to sometimes recollect memories and thoughts of those that have been consumed. And you must roll under the caster's POW and spend magic points for each additional information sought. Okay, next spell is contact spells. Cost, refer to the specific spell. Sanity cost 1d3 plus more to view the monster. Casting time 1d6 plus 4 rounds. Contact spells are divided into two separate groups. Spells concerned with contacting mythos creatures and monsters, and spells for contacting mythos deities. Using contact spells, a cultist could get in touch with monsters and alien races, perhaps to learn about magic, gods, or alien species. The caster should have a definite goal in mind. Bargains might be struck and plans negotiated. Contact spells do not give the caster the upper hand, though. The spell is merely a method to establish contact. Remember, these are independent and intelligent beings with their own motivation. Casters make contact at their peril. This is distinctly different to summoning spells that have the potential to allow casters to bind the summoned beings to their will. Procedures are much the same for each contact spell, though particular conditions or requirements may be unique. Knowing one contact spell is of no help in casting another. Many versions of contact spells exist. Cast properly, this spell always works, unless there are no such things living within a convenient distance. Flying polyps might journey from the city in the sands to some part of Australia, but might ignore the chance to fly to North America. A contact spell takes 5 to 10 rounds to cast. The thing reached by the spell may appear in a game hour or take a game day or more to show up. For a random appearance in hours, roll 1d100. Entities living nearby will walk, swim, dig, or fly to the spell point. If the trip is too long, the thing called by the spell never shows up. Things from other dimensions can appear in any characteristic or evocative manner. The spell brings a random member of the species, presumably with its own motives. The caster should try to be alone, or to be with no more than a small group, in order not to seem threatening. Once the contacted thing appears, it is free to depart. So if the caster has something to offer it, the chance for an extended meeting greatly improve. If a contacted species is large, such as a flying polyp, only one will likely appear. If it is human-sized or smaller, the keeper may determine if several representatives arrive as a group. There is no guarantee that a contacted entity would rather bargain with or devour the caster. It will have an alien motivation. However, if further contact seems advantage to both sides, then some interesting role-playing may emerge. As mentioned, each version of the spell requires certain conditions to be in place for it to work. Contact Chthonian. Unless there are no Chthonians nearby, it succeeds automatically. The spell must be cast at a location that has known recent earthquakes or where hotspots and volcanoes offer relative quick transportation from the deep interior of the planet to the outer edge of the geologic crust. Cost 5 magic points. Contact Deep One. Unless there are no deep ones nearby, the chanting succeeds automatically. This spell should be cast at the edge of the saltwater ocean or sea. To work best, it should be cast near a deep one city, such as the waters off Innsmouth, Massachusetts, or the coast near the town of Dunwich, England. Part of the ritual consists of throwing specially inscribed stones into the water. Cost 3 magic points. Contact Elder Thing. Unless there are no Elder Things nearby, the chanting succeeds automatically. The most likely locations are along the southern part of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge or other geological trenches nearest Antarctica. Cost 3 magic points. Contact Flying Polyp. Unless there are no flying polyps nearby, it succeeds automatically. Flying polyps occur only in their rare underground cities, the largest of which is beneath the city in the sands in the western Australian desert. The caster should first construct or open a communication shaft for their egress. Cost 9 magic points. Contact Formless Spawn. Unless there are no formless spawn nearby, it succeeds automatically. The best place to cast this spell is at a temple of Sathogoa, whose altar statue of Sathogoa is still present, or at the spot near an opening into the black abyss of Nikkei, somewhere near Binger, Oklahoma. Possibly other places in western or midwestern North America offer entry and exit points. One such cavern reputably exists near Dunwich, Massachusetts. Costs 3 magic points. Contact Ghoul. Unless there are no ghouls nearby, it succeeds automatically. Ghouls are found wherever large concentration of humans are, especially near graveyards and crypts. Places of burial more than a century old are propitious locations for this spell. Moonlit nights are best. Cost 5 magic points. Contact Gnofke. Unless there are no Gnofke nearby, it succeeds automatically. Gnofke are usually found in Greenland or other frozen wastes near the North Pole. The spell must be augmented with a successful Sing, Arts and Crafts specialism roll, and before doing so, the caster must build a small effigy of the beast from ice and snow. Cost 6 magic points. Contact Hound of Tyndalis. If a Hound of Tyndalis is summoned, it will come automatically. There is no known way to bargain with the Hound of Tyndalis, whose motives for moving through the stream of time and space is pure hunger. Cost 7 magic points. Contact Migo. Unless there are no Migo nearby, it succeeds automatically. The spell must be cast at the base or top of a high mountain, in a range known to be mined or visited by enigmatic spacefaring race. Among such ranges are the Appalachians, Andes, and the Himalayas, and some peaks in Central Africa. Cost 8 magic points. Contact Rat Thing. To bring forth a foul rat thing, it must be cast at or near the site infested by rat things. A population of these evil creatures reportedly exists in Yorkshire, England. Another report of similar creatures comes from Massachusetts. Cost 2 magic points. Contact Sand Dweller. Unless there are no sand dwellers nearby, it succeeds automatically. This spell must be cast in a suitable desert, such as the Sahara, the southwestern United States, Saudi Arabia, or Central Australia. Cost 3 magic points. Contact Servitor of the Outer Gods. A successful luck roll establishes that a servitor is within the Milky Way galaxy when the spell is cast. If no servitor is within the range, the magic points are lost. Stars must be visible to the caster. He or she attempting to visualize Azathoth in effable heart, reputedly a spherical symbol of meditation, but actually of unknown shape, that pulses and shines like liquid flame. The servitor manifests within 1d6 plus 4 rounds and expects a blood sacrifice. If the nominated sacrifice is inadequate, the servitor devours the caster. If the servitor accepts the sacrifice, it agrees to perform one simple task for the caster. With a successful persuade roll, the servitor also deigns to answer one respectful question about mighty Azathoth, the court at the center of the universe, or an outer god. The answer adds 1d3 Cthulhu mythos to the questionnaires total, but the answer is meaningless to onlookers. With a roll equal to or less than a fifth of the character's persuade skill, the servitor also imparts a spell directly into the caster's brain, costing the caster 1d8 sanity points and 1d10 rounds of disorientation. The servitor chooses the spell. Its services rendered, the servitor may linger and play its unearthly pipes while colors flash across its body and its tentacles writhe, or it may dissolve and return to some galactic arm or stellar nursery and resume its previous activity. Hearing its insane and mesmerizing pipes costs 1 or 1d4 sanity points if you failed, and thereafter haunts every singer or instrumentalist who was present. They become indifferent to earthly scales and more feel compelled to perform in the cosmic scales revealed to them. Cost 14 magic points. Contact Spirits of the Dead. Many versions of this spell exist. One version requires a tent of white sheets to be erected near a river, and jugs full of the stream's water are placed inside. Songs are sung, and dance is danced. An entry is made for the dead to appear. Add up all the magic points multiplied by the sum of 5. If the caster needing to roll equal to or under that result on a 1d100. With a success, the voice of the dead emerge from the water jugs. One may hear them and discuss or question them by putting one's head in the tent. Remember that the dead mostly know only what they knew in life, and that some do not realize they are dead. Cost 3 or more magic points. Contact Starspawn of Cthulhu. Unless there are no representatives nearby, it succeeds automatically. It should be cast at the ocean shore, perhaps near a deep one outpost, or else near a spot where the Starspawn may sleep. The spell works well in Polynesia, along the Massachusetts coast, and above Arles. Cost 6 magic points. Contact Yithian. This spell does not reach forward or backwards in time. If a Yithian mind occupies a subject within 100 miles of the caster at the time the spell is cast, the Yithian notices the appeal and may respond if curious, fearful, or alarmed. If the caster has nothing interesting to say or offer, then the great race scholar ignores later questions, or perhaps destroys the caster as a likely pest or nuisance. Cost 4 magic points. Alternative names for contact spells use words like union, commune, exchange, commerce, covenant, pact, concord, etc. For example, the red pact, covenant of the deep, and so forth. Contact deity spells. Cost is 5 power and 1d6 sanity points. Casting time 5 to 10, 1d6 plus 4 rounds. So 5 to 10 rounds. Contact deity spells are unused except by the insane priests of these deities or by great independent sorcerers who hope to strike deals and win over some small fraction of the deity's power. The deity sought for contact can be any one of the gods or great old ones. For each such spell, the caster must sacrifice 5 power. The chance of successfully contacting the deity is equal to half the caster's reduced POW. If the roll succeeds, the deity or some aspect of it will contact the caster in a semi-friendly manner after a few game hours or days. The deity is unlikely to give non-worshippers anything of value. If the deity is bored or offended, the god will likely squash the caster or drive him or her insane, and so get some inhuman pleasure from this situation. Each version of the spell tends to reflect the deity concerned. Contact deity Shagnar-Faugen opens communications with Shagnar-Faugen. With a success, the deity sends the caster visions or nightmares that inform the dreamer of the god's desires, or lets him or her know if a petition to the god is to be favorably answered or rejected. Contact deity Cthulhu opens communications with Cthulhu. Cthulhu typically responds at night during the caster's dreams. By dreams and nightmares, he informs his followers of his desire. Contact deity Eort resembles other contact deity spells, except the caster sacrifices 1 magic point in casting it. The god automatically appears in dream form if the caster is distant, and in person if it is within a few hundred yards. In imparting this spell into the caster's brain, Eort extracts 5 POW in compensation. Contact deity Nodins opens communication with Nodins. The contact spell for Nodins can be cast only from a remote, unpeopled place, such as the edge of the sea cliff. If latter, Nodins contacts the caster, it will be when he or she is alone and in a similar inaccessible place. Contact deity Narlathotep opens communications with Narlathotep. This spell can be cast from anywhere, as befits his omnipresent god. However, Narlathotep appears only at meetings of worshippers or when new priests of the gods are anointed. Contact deity Sathogua opens communications with Sathogua. Sathogua may appear in spirit form as a hazy and translucent projectile of his real-life self, to which normal sanity laws apply. He usually visits only if the caster is alone. He speaks audibly to the caster. Contact deity Igolonak opens communications with Igolonak. This god responds by attempting to convert the caster to its worship. If the deity feels that the caster would be an unsuitable priest, it will psychically attack him or her and try to eat the soul and mind. If the caster might be suitable, Igolanak tries to possess a friend who, controlled, approaches the caster to tempt him or her into service. I'm going to end the video here. We are on Create Barrier of Natif next time. Well, that was a lot of reading. Let me know what you all think about the spells in the comments below. Until we all game again, guys.